Good morning, welcome. My name is Rick Allen. I'll be your captain today on flight 015. We're at the Toronto International Pearson Airport, and I'd just like to introduce you to our crew today. So we've got Peter Thompson, First Officer.
Good morning.
First Officer Francois Champagne, who's a relief pilot today, and we're waiting for First Officer Ron Valunga, who's probably caught in traffic. We're just about to start our flight planning.
As you can see, it's a fairly lengthy flight plan, 48 pages, which encompasses all the no times in the various airspaces.
Today's flight on the 777, it's the only aircraft in our fleet that flies polar. So we're planning a polar flight today. It's either Route 1, Route 2, we think we have up to Route 4. So it's probably just taking a look at the flight plan quickly. Are we going by Avery or?
Yeah, Barry.
Barry. So that's polar Route 1. So there's some real advantages to flying polar routes, and one of them obviously is shorter time. It's better for the environment, less fuel burn, so that results in less carbon emissions in the environment. Also fuel savings for the airline, which results in cheaper costs. Going over the pole, usually we have less turbulence, and some of the things that we have to consider for Transport Canada is different areas such as ETOPS alternates, communication, solar, PRAM. What else do we have on here, Peter? Space weather, HF conditions, and weather fuel. So it's a little different than normal flight planning and compared to some of the other routes. And if any of these exceedances are required, then we would take a non-polar route, which would result in longer flight plans, more fuel burn, and maybe less payload. So there's some maps if we want to take a look at just our routings.
So here's our route over there, going just a little bit south of the pole there, and into Asia from the pole all the way to Hong Kong.
Through Siberia, Mongolia.
There you go.
So there's a big picture from Toronto. There you go, Francois.
From Toronto, all the way just south of the pole on the Iceland side, and then all the way to Hong Kong.
And for everybody out there, Ron Valunga. I've known Ron since first met him in 1993. We were in a furlough together, and we went to air traffic control here in Toronto. So we saw how the other side of the fence was. Ron was working on the west side, south side, and I was working terminal for ATC. So at flight level 270, it's a Leicester 7 departure going to Tony. Victor 34, Yankee Echo Echo, J556, North Bay direct, YVO, direct YFM, direct 56 at 7246 west.
Yeah.
So that was John Humphreys. He's our dispatcher watching the flight today, and after we reviewed the flight plan, we went over the route, we checked the NOTAMs, we just finished checking the weather and looking at the map and the forecasts for some turbulence out of Toronto. So John says he's got no reports, no complaints so far. There's a jet stream over Quebec. We should be below that right now, but what's something's a little different today is that there's a jet over the pole. We don't normally see that. Usually there's no wind, but it should be fairly weak. So we reviewed the flight plan with all 4 crew members. If we want to come down here, the last thing we will take a look at is our polar charting map that Francois has been working on.
This is our routing, and this is the jet which Rick was just talking about, and a little bit of the weather that's in the Toronto area. And as we move to the north, there's the jet which is in the vicinity of the pole, which we don't normally get. So we might get a few little bumps when we go over the pole and through Siberia into Mongolia. A little bit of weather in the middle of Siberia, then clearing out, and then once we enter China, again we'll be crossing a couple of jets with some forecasted turbulence, various levels up to 43,000 feet.
Air Canada 1254 à destination de Cancun. Nous demandons aux personnes qui voyagent avec de jeunes enfants ou qui ont besoin d'aide de se présenter maintenant à la porte 178.
Okay, so we're now on the ramp at Toronto Pearson International Airport, and we'll be doing the walk around of a Boeing 777 on its way from Toronto to Hong Kong. Let's go. So we just take a close look of everything on the aircraft, making sure that everything is in place and that nothing that should not be there is there as well. So actually there's some smaller aircraft fuselage are smaller than the circumference of these engines on the 777. So all the blades are in good conditions. That's what we're looking for. No dents, no nothing. So this is it. We've done the walk around of the Boeing 777 prior to its flight to Hong Kong. We're going back into Cary with our regular duties in the flight deck.
Delivery Air Canada 015 at 177. We have information Delta and a PDC 393 Papa.
Canada 015, all correct, and 2207 for push, good day.
2207 will be a noise 1 for Air Canada 015.
015, vertical profile 1, Roger.
Okay, JustPlanes, all our pre-flight checks are done, doors are closed, our ground crew has just advised it's time to go. 4 minutes to our scheduled departure time. Once again, Air Canada, on-time performance is looking good. So sit back and enjoy the rest of the flight. Thank you. Okay, we just received our revised load. So what we do now here is we check. We got the right flight number 0015 of the 8th, Toronto to Hong Kong. That's cross-checked there. We got the right fin, 702. And here's our breakdown. J class, 42 people. In the economy class, 228. Operational flight plan number 1. And load number 3. And no tag at no nil, which is just for hazardous goods. So our total passenger breakdown, 245 people with 3 infants, and in the zones, 24, 109, 112. Fuel on board cross checks. Takeoff fuel is good. 0 fuel weight, 2029, so we're down a bit. Takeoff weight, 326,000 kilos, so that's 3,000 less than we planned, still within the limits for departure figures. Takeoff weight MEC is 26.8, and everything else checks. Down at the bottom here, nothing there, Ron? Nope. Flight deck, we have 4. End of part 2.2. Very good.
Air Canada 015, pushback 177.
Air Canada 015, good day. Push tail to the east and advise your crew you're going to exit Delta, Quebec.
Tail to the east, and we'll plan on Delta Quebec, Air Canada 015.
Okay, flight deck ground okay for brake release?
Flight to release the brakes.
Okay, brakes off, ready for pushback, tail to the east, and we're departing Delta Quebec.
All right, tail to the east, out of Delta Quebec, and you are cleared to start 1 engine on the push.
Okay, check. We'll be starting the right engine on the push.
61 with Delta.
Test. Can you hear that?
21-3 for clearance.
Sorry.
If I use the center intercom, does that work?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to use that one then when I'm
Air
talking.
Canada 606, 21-9 for ground.
Canada 606.
Okay, Ron, start the right engine, please.
Start the right.
Okay, I'm looking for the oil pressure, which we have, and the right fuel control switch is coming on. So now we monitor the engine instruments. 2 is coming up. And when it's pulling.
Fuel full.
Confirm brake set.
Brake set, confirm when pins removed.
Bypass pins are removed.
Roger, check the pins removed, right hand signals. Thanks for the push, have a great day.
Safely.
Okay, we checked the parameters on engine number 1. They're stable. Start the left, please.
Left.
Good morning, apron, Novajet 21N, Sky Service.
Again, starters
Ready to
on.
taxi,
Looking for oil
Delta.
pressure.
Novajet 21, good day. Hold short of Echo Alpha.
Hold short Echo Alpha, Novajet 21, thanks.
There's 1. Master's going up.
There's a ground crew. Tugs away. We got the wave off. And they're off to the coffee shop.
Air Canada 015, taxi.
Air Canada 015, hold short of Delta Quebec and contact ground now 21-9, good day.
Short of Delta Quebec and 21-9, Air Canada 015.
So, Delta Quebec's just off our left. There's an aircraft, looks like an RJ, pointing at us.
It's clear on the right.
And clear on the left, thank you. Taxi lights on.
Ground Canada 015, heavy short of Delta Quebec.
Canada 015 Heavy, Toronto ground, runway 05, ATIS Echo, altimeter 3009. I'm the RJ, taxi by Delta, cross runway 33 right, hold short of Echo.
Delta cross 33 right, short of Echo, Air Canada 015, behind RJ.
Okay, copy that.
Ground control inspection 26. 1060, 6 monitor tower 118.35. 606.
Right, ground, Comair 3133, Alpha short takeoff.
Comair 3133, ground, short of Alpha Kilo there, continue up to Tango, 15 left, hold short Delta.
And it's clear on the right.
Wait, Alpha, say again.
And Comair 3133, continue along Alpha and then right turn Tango, and taxi onto runway 15 left, hold short Delta.
Alpha Tango 15 left, short of Delta, Comair 3133.
Same thing. No. Last month when I came here, did go around as a drop. Line up 05 or down 015?
Canada 015 Heavy 106 knots, clear takeoff runway 5.
Clear takeoff 5, Air Canada 015.
Okay, line up on wait, 05, Air Canada 1.
Thrust reference.
Roger.
For 99.9.
$80, hold. Roger. Rotate.
Positive rate.
Europe. Hell no. Thruster up, greenhouse speed. Autopilot on.
Canada 015 Heavy departure.
Autopilot.
7.57.
2757, Air Canada 015.
Canada 015, left heading 010.
Left heading 010, Canada 015.
010, heading selected, looking for 3,600 feet through the noise abatement. Aircraft's accelerating. Looking for the flap speed, flaps 5, please.
Flaps 5.
We can see the aircraft's rolling out. Here's the heading button on 010. Looking for the flap speed. Once we're past that, I'll call flaps 1.
Flaps 1.
Air Canada 015, climb out of level 230.
In Canada, we're restricted 250 knots, below 10,000 feet, and we'll see once we get to that speed, we can go. Because of the weight of the aircraft, we're allowed to fly a speed, plane speed of, well, looks like about 254, 255, which is approved by Transport Canada.
Maintain 230, Canada 105. Air Canada 015, if you direct to Midland on course.
Direct to Midland on course, or Canada 015.
Okay, so I'm going to select Midland to the top, execute.
Confirm, execute.
And LNAV's available.
Up here, lateral nav is selected, which I say LNAV is confirmed. We expand our map, 80-mile range, and we can see Midland, Yankee Echo Echo.
Canada 015, contact Toronto 132.57, so on.
132.57, Air Canada 015 today. Toronto Air Canada 015 heavy, leaving 9,000 for 230, direct Midland.
Canada 015, flying flight level 270.
Okay, we're at a 10,000 for flight level 270. You can see now we're going to accelerate to our climb speed, 320 knots.
It's kind of tricky working both ways.
Air Canada 015, after Midland, clear direct Val-d'Or on course.
After Midland, direct Val-d'Or on course, Air Canada 015.
Air Canada 61, contact Toronto now, 124.37. 124.37, and before we go, still it's actually smooth between 22 and right now for Air Canada 261. All right, thank you. Go on. Air Canada 015, I've got 270 as a final for you to start, is that correct?
That's the front of Air Canada 015.
Better.
Toronto, sorry, Air Canada 015, we'd like 290. That's final.
Okay, I checked that.
So what we have here is on the Boeing electronic flight bag, we have our chart clip. So for Toronto, we can preview down in the bottom portion here, you can see the different phases of flight. There's actually a pictorial that'll show what it is. So right here we have the terminal, the airport area, we have departure, we have information, we have arrival, and then we have approach, or we have all, which we can select. So normally what we do is that we'll pick the charts after reviewing them on which ones might apply for the departure that we're having. So you can see on this one for Toronto for our departure, we can preview an airport, and I'll just, with the electronic flight bag, we can either have a day mode, which we're in, or a night mode for evening, which is the black background, the opposite. And here's a picture of the airport diagram in Toronto. So what on here, it displays the different frequencies that are used from ATIS, a ground control, APR control, tower, and departure frequencies. It also has runway lengths. I'm going to have to expand it so I can read it. It's also a touch screen, which we can scroll down, and has all sorts of information displayed here. So today's departure for Flight 015, we departed from Terminal 1, which is this building here. There's a Terminal 3 over here. There's a center terminal, which they don't use anymore. We departed from gate 177, which when I can expand, was basically in this quadrant. Stand by, I want to get back a page. So other pages that we can review, airport information, takeoff minimums, which are all listed here. We also have charts in our book, which explain this. It's a lousy page. Apron procedures, parking, gates, 109B. We can have a review here. So as we expand in, we can see Terminal 1, the apron area. We started in a building, or sorry, in a room over here for our flight planning, ended up walking along the terminal, through security, down the long corridor to gate 177. As you can see in a relationship to the airport. Positions. We also have parking positions, either commuter parking in the infield, coordinates if it's required for loading your GPS system up. We have low visibility taxi charts, which on today weren't required. We have second page, we have de-icing, guidance, signboards, and a standard taxi route. So today the weather was quite good. So today's departure, if you can look at this map here, we departed gate 177. We pushed back. We departed Delta Quebec, which is that exit there. Taxi along Delta. We crossed runway 33 right, which what we discussed earlier is the longest runway, which we would have preferred for takeoff, but it was closed due to a NOTAM. Once we cleared the runway, we went across Delta. We came along Mike 3, and then air traffic control gave us a taxi down runway 33 left, which we then went to hotel, and we departed out of 05 towards the northeast. So I expand a little closer. You can take a look to see what it is. So this chart is used and has all the different taxiways orientations, and it has preferred routes on it also. If I go to another chart, here's a standard taxi route chart for Route 6. And we didn't use this one today, but it would be guidance when you're going from an area following along. So you can see this route would take us from this area following the arrows. This is what you can anticipate for departure off 6 left. Jefferson has these charts, but air traffic control in Toronto doesn't use them very often. Okay, let's go back to the chart clip. So we can review departures. So in Toronto, there's 5 different SID, standard instrument departure charts. That was a test. And you can see in Toronto we have the Avro 5, the Douglas 3, the Leicester 7, and you can see it's checked green because that's the one we departed and that's the one we used. The Pearson 9 and the Windy 1. So I'll select the Leicester 7 departure. Sorry, we'll preview it. And there you can see the chart. So on this chart, which is used for almost all departures that we have, it's produced by Jefferson. And in the top right corner, you see Toronto. It's called a SID chart. And what we review is expiry dates, or sorry, effective dates, what the chart number is. It's cross-checked with the pilot not flying and the dates. So you can see in here, here's the IDEN for the airport. Here's your Toronto departure frequencies, 28.8, 27.57. If they're doing a dual departure, they'll have 2 departure frequencies sometimes. Airport elevation, any other notes, which you can read here, that are required. Transition levels, transition altitudes, safe altitudes within 100 nautical miles of the airport, any cautionary notes, and then any other additional requirements, which here it says refer to noise abatement procedures for additional requirements. The name of the chart, the Leicester 7 departure, and in parentheses here, it has a short form, which would be in the database for when we're loading it in for cross-reference. In big bold letters here, this is a requirement for Transport Canada, the maximum speed of 250 knots for all aircraft below 10,000 feet. For noise abatement, there's another little chart here, turbojet or fan aircraft only, runway, all runways, and if it was just applicable to certain ones, it would have the numbers either 05 or 23 or 6 left.